this time for Manuel. And yeah, I'm not sure if he wants me to say his last name, but like I said, this is a paid request from Manuel. Manuel, thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And of course, this is for a commentary on the first Matrix film, which I have paused at the beginning here. Scene play. Now, of course, by the time this is up, the trailer for the fourth out, and what I'm doing in my hand here is how I felt about that trailer, because I am actually a fan of all three films. I saw all three films in the theater. I even saw Flight of the Osiris, the short, as part of the Animatrix. I saw that in the theater. It was an adaptation, Dreamcast. And I remember seeing the trailer to this, being very blown away by the trailer, and said, oh, I really want to see this movie. I like Keanu Reeves because I like films like Speed and even the Bill and Ted films. And while this is a concept that many places of anime, but I wasn't a big anime guy. I liked Akira, but I just didn't see much anime. Did not read manga. There were films before this, I mean, Dark City being one, which is a good one, where you think you're in one world, but there's something else going on behind the scenes. Even Bullet Time Blade had a little bit of that, when Blade is shooting at Steven Dorff outside, and the bullets slowly go past Steven Dorff. But I think it took concepts and still made it its own. I think it's a visually dynamic film. I think it's a visually creative film. I think you get a good cast. Saw this movie, and but now, because the 2 and 3 had green thing, I still wish to see it like I originally saw it back in the theater. This VHS, like in the Matrix, it has that blue tint. I do, like, you know, I do wish to see that version. Apparently some early DVDs, but I can't find them because the DVDs all look the same cover-wise. That's why the cover of the Matrix DVD is blue. It's not green. We have Hugo Weaving, the role that brought him into the mainstream. Of course, he would be Red Skull and Captain America the First Avenger, and Lord of the Rings, and many other big projects. But this is easily my favorite role of his, as Agent Smith. Agent Smith again. See, we saw a bit of that. Go, oh wait, there's something. And it was elements in past movies, creative, and the film became a success. Huge amount of imitators, imitating various points of it. And My Neighbor's Roosters feel the same way. I mean, whether it be in parodies like Steer, imitating the outfits. Like, I would, in X-Men, the first film, they're all dressed. It's because all these characters are dressed in black. I would not be surprised. Just go, oh, that's cool. So, then the action sequences, the moving of the camera, even, films like Charlie's Angels and Bulletproof Monk. I mean, it's just countless amount of films that so much it becomes less special. I mean, when you got to the sequels, I know a lot of people hate this. Here's a good jump move here from one building to another. Again, a nice pool shot. There we go. And also the score. The score is very well done, and I think now we have different composers for the new film. Like the music in this, not just the score is very well done. I like a lot of the songs. A lot of people hate 2 and 3. I don't agree. I don't agree with their assessment. Alone, and I'm like one of the this bullshit. They have their each their own. They're trying to do. I appreciate them something a bit different. Just how many times do we complain? They're just doing the same thing. But right, automatically make it good. I mean, even that idea of you could escape through the telephone, in this case, the phone booth, which I'm sure nowadays are like, what the fuck is a phone booth? It's a movie with Colin Farrell in 2000s. Good movie too. But I thought they created a really interesting mythology, and again, I actually like what they're trying to do in 2 and 3. You know, in the second film, where the tip, there's something a bit more to it. There's a bit more you don't understand, and dealing with choices, and the choice that won out at the end was love, and choosing his love for Trinity over his quote duty, and that changed things out. It affected the program. And then you realize at the end that war, there will always be war. Even today's age, there will always be war. So if you can't beat a war, you just gotta be a truce. And that's what Neo realized when Neo and Smith are at the same blah blah blah. It wouldn't matter, because the cycle would just keep. If you think of the humans as the bodies, you think of the soul, and you think of the Matrix as the mind, reunite all three, and then you get a truce. I had this one fucking guy, not because he didn't like Matrix Revolutions, but because he was being personal about it, and go on about, well, in Matrix Revolutions, Neo was in a coma, and the humans were still enslaved. How was that a good ending? I'm like, the humans were not still enslaved. Yeah, they were. I'm like, no, the dialogue specifically states in Matrix Revolutions, from the architect and the Oracle are literally talking, and the Oracle says, what about the other people? What people? The people who want to be free. We'll let them go. The people want to stay, they can stay. The people want to go, they'll go. It says that at the end of the third movie. That's literal dialogue. That's why it ends on a sunset. That's why it ends with the people of Zion celebrating, not because they're not dead. Like, dude, you're the only person on Earth that came to this conclusion. And he was getting personal and fighting me on it. If you disagree, that's fine. I don't get... But then you getting personal on something that you're wrong about? Listen, if you hate the sequels, you're not wrong. It's just a different opinion. And you're in the majority. Again, I'm in the minority and liking the sequels. But to say something about that with the story, that's just flat out wrong. Because it's not there. And I just should start with Keanu Reeves looking like Neo. And the thing is, I know he's doing John Wick 4. That's why he looks like that. But you know what? Have a compromise. I'm sorry, have some type of compromise where one movie is pushed back. And be like, you know what? Cut the hair, shave, Or, fine, Warner Brothers, wait on The Matrix 4. Have them do John Wick 4. Then he can shave, he can do his haircut, and then he can be Neo. See, a tattoo of the White Rabbit. Just like in the new one, there's a tattoo of a White Rabbit. See, that's... People like, well, you don't look forward to the fourth film because of women. I'm like, you didn't listen to the video. My point is, in watching that trailer, it's this movie again. That's it. Like The Force Awakens of Star Wars. Like all this other stuff. It's lazy, it's uncreative, it's lame. Oh, Leo... yeah. I would... Ninja Turtles in the Matrix, I'd see that. Neo, Thomas Anderson, which someone told me he's a game developer. Which he's a programmer here. He's a game developer there. He's having dreams. And he's having dreams in the new one. That's probably why he's seeing his therapist, Neil Patrick Harris. I guarantee you the game in that new movie is going to be this movie. Like in the movie, the game he's thinking of is this. That's why you see footage in the trailer of the first movie. So, okay, I'm going to see bits of the first movie again. He thinks he's a normal guy. He's in a place that he doesn't realize is fake. He's having nightmares. He follows a fucking tattoo of a white rabbit. He first meets Trinity. He first meets Morpheus. He fights Morpheus in a fucking dojo. He realizes I know Kung Fu. He realizes I got superpowers. I saw the fucking movie already, and I'm watching it right now. But people love this as if it's fucking... So... Like, they forget Matrix films, despite if you want to hate the sequels, I think they're pretty creative. And they tried for the fences. This is lazy. They said, oh, The Force Awakens made a lot of money, and The Force Awakens was a hit. Do that. Only Trinity will be the one this time. And that'll be the twist, because there's gotta be some twist. Because we went left instead of right, supposedly, so this time Trinity is the one. Which makes this fucking point, because the whole fucking point of the whole three films is like, he's the one. But now that doesn't, and that's why there's a truce. That's why something different, something changed. Because it just kept having this circle. And Carrie-Anne Moss is hot. And Keanu Reeves I've always been a fan of. Even after this, I like Constantine, I like Street Kings, I love the John Wick films. And right, he's not a game developer in this, he's works at an office, but he's also a programmer in his off time as well. And I saw this in the theater back in 1999 and really enjoyed it. And people thought that Star Wars The Phantom Menace was going to be the big movie of that year, when in actuality it became this film. And then the green tint is a bit distracting, I will say. And that's one thing I'm like, that's another thing. They made such a big fucking deal to go back and do the green tint in the first movie. So now all future releases has this altered version. But then they don't want to do it for the new one. Oh, but, well, rebooted, so it doesn't have the green tint anymore. Alright. I guess. But again, it's... I don't think you need to change... If you could just be free with that, I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of people who's nostalgia of the first one, and hey, you're reminded of the first film, because most of it's the first film, only you have some blue-haired chick. And you have the lazy, lame Candyman as a lazy, lame Morpheus instead of Laurence Fishburne. Of course, Morpheus is calling him here. Laurence Fishburne, great choice. Definitely had the voice for this character. It was nice he got to do even more in the second film. And Hugo Weaving Has a great presence as Agent Smith. Is there going to be a scene like this in the new film too? Only instead of avoiding sneakily, it'll be like a big action scene with explosions. I would not be surprised. But yeah, I saw this in the theater, and then when I saw the trailer for the second film, I'm like, wow, this looks really cool. I can't wait for it. And I saw Matrix Reloaded twice in the theater. Yeah, I could do without the whole scene with Colonel Sanders, the KFC guy, pontificating for what felt like an interminably long spiel. But I enjoyed the special effects. I enjoyed the action scenes. I enjoyed what they were trying to do. I enjoyed the ambition. I enjoyed the ride it was taking me. It wasn't the ride I expected, but I was enjoying the ride, and it felt epic to me, and I got sucked into it. And Matrix Revolutions, while I think the first two are better, I think Revolutions is a step down. I still enjoyed what they were trying to do. I got what they were trying to do. It made me think. It made me think a little bit about the philosophies. That's why this out of the blue trans allegory just came out of nowhere, because I find it funny that for decades, with the amount of time that, when this film came out, or when the second film came out, or when the third film came out, it's funny they never mentioned that. They never mentioned that. Like, they weren't even transvestite. But then, oh, these were always a trans allegory. But you were not even trans. So you're not even trans. But again, whatever. And no, I don't care if someone's trans, but there are people that weaponize that shit to make people go, well, if you don't believe 100% on this and this, then that means you're racist, or you're homophobic, or you're transphobic. I'm like, that's you using it as a weapon. I don't care if someone's gay. I know people who are gay, and they don't give a shit about this shit. They go, this is fucking stupid, I just want to watch a movie. And Hollywood doesn't give a fuck. That's why they make these fucking movies like Cinderella 2021, where the gay guy is the most stereotypical, oh, hey, how you going? 2 snaps. Like Damon Wayans in In Living Color. Same with Candyman. You had another person, a couple who was gay, and they're, oh, hey there, how you doing? Like the same people that make fun of Misha Taylor for doing and Mannequin. Oh, that's not right. But that's how Hollywood don't give a fuck. I know people who are gay. I know people who are trans. Yes, I do. And you know what? They think this shit's stupid too. Well, you want to know why? Because they want story and characters. They don't give a fuck about that. The go fucking figure. Sorry, I mean... But yeah, I saw the second one in the theater. Really enjoyed it. Saw it twice. That was the same summer I saw Bad Boys 2 in the theater twice. And then Matrix Revolutions I saw in the theater. And like I said, in between... No, I think before that you had Flight of the Osiris, which was a CG animated short. It was in front of another Warner Brothers film who released this, Dreamcatcher. And I saw that film for reasons because it had, oh, this thing for The Matrix. Oh, okay, it's this animated short. Alright. And then that would be put into The Animatrix, which I've seen The Animatrix. I enjoyed The Animatrix. I have it over here in this DVD set. I always loved the way Hugo Weaving delivered this type of dialogue and this... It's not robotic, it's very assured. very articulate, trying to take every moment and time and word to make it finite. They're trying to do the movements as precisely as possible, same with his dialogue. There's some fun humor. How about I give you the finger and you give me my fucking phone call? Phone call, he didn't say fucking phone call. If you hear noises, again, the neighbors doing work on the house and such. Oh, and then one of the the website where you do take the red pill and the white pill, the red or the blue pill. There's a website where if you click on the red pill or you click on the blue pill, it'll show like a different teaser. One of them has the same fucking thing with the mouth being shut, being closed. Oh, it's to the guy at the end of the new trailer. The guy says that stupid line, "Welcome back to the Matrix." Which I'm guessing that guy says that because if Neo's a game developer and the Matrix, I guarantee you, is the game. So what, is it like Existence with David Cronenberg? Existence? That's what it sounds like. But the guy at one point has his mouth shut just like Keanu has here. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of fucking reheated leftovers. You remember this? Remember that? Remember this? Again, no fucking creativity. Just like Star Wars The Force Awakens. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Oh, we call it a soft reboot. I call it fucking lazy. And people think I'm so fucking crazy. It's happened before. It will happen again because Hollywood does not want to learn its lessons. Well, we'll get it right this time. Well, if people are like, well, I didn't even like the second or third, then why are you excited for a fourth one if you didn't like the second and third? I don't understand. It's like, I don't like Halloween 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I look forward to Halloween Kills. Why? Yeah, Halloween 2018 did just... That happened, and that happened, that happened, the franchise. Put it all together and redo it. Fucking creativity today. But yes, I saw the Fly of the Osiris. I saw that in front of Dreamcatcher, and Dreamcatcher sucked. That was disappointing. Shit weasels. Fucking shit weasels. It's just really a good looking movie. I mean, for 1999, and I'm watching the DVD. I have the films on Blu-ray, but I just popped in the DVD. Even the DVD, it looks fucking great. It looks wonderful. The cinematography, it's very, like, crystal clear in the cinematography. Very smooth, very stylish. And so again, I would like the option to see the original intention without the green filter pushed into it. Give me the option so I can see it how I saw it back in the day. Just none of this had the green tint. And of course, you don't have that when you're in the real world. They do that. The reason they did it here is because this is supposed to be the Matrix world, so the Matrix world is green. Again, they did that in the sequels. So again, when they put this out, I'll go back and tint the green of the... I mean, I guess in a way they're trying to be consistent, but I just give me the option. Even on the Blu-ray, just give people the option. They know the red pill, the blue pill. The green tint or no tint. There you go. You can even make that an option on the DVD or Blu-ray. Let people have their choice. Since you want to talk about choices, there you go. Give people a choice there. This is a big fucking device. You would think they have a device a little bit smaller for this. But I guess it's one of those things that is not a sleek device. It's like something put together from rare parts, which might have been from the, I would say from the real world, but they're in the Matrix. But maybe it's like they're, I don't know. Of course, you know that nod. You got a, you're bugged. Only this time it's a literal bug. You know, like I mentioned, Keanu Reeves being a big fan of his. Carrie-Anne Moss, sadly, after this, did not get to do a whole lot. I mean, she was in stuff. She was in Suspect Zero. I think that was 2004. So that's what she did after the Matrix sequels. I enjoyed Suspect Zero with her and Aaron Eckhart. Serial killer movie. I think Suspect Zero is underrated. Still doesn't have a Blu-ray release. Aaron Eckhart, her, Ben Kingsley are the stars of the film. Dealing with remote viewing and again, serial killer story. She was in Red Planet, which she wasn't the issue with Red Planet. I think that was after what she got after the Matrix was Red Planet, and that film was a big bomb. Not because of her, not even because of Val Kilmer, but because it was just a pretty boring story, boring movie. She was in Disturbia. I think she played the mom in Disturbia, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen that. Which I like Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, he was Morpheus, not this fake-ass, phony Morpheus. Right now you feel like a bit of Alice down the rabbit hole. And then the new one. There's a fucking book of Alice in Wonderland. You gotta do the whole Alice thing again. I'm like, we just did this in the first movie. Like, why are poor people not mentioning that when they do their trailer reactions and they're creaming in their fucking pants? And people say I want to see the same thing over and over again. What the fuck? As I put my hand like right here, because I just... Yes, there have been many movies I've enjoyed that they do similar stuff. Another 48 Hours. But I even said that was a complaint. And this is 2021. You can learn at this point what to do and not to do based on past experience, and no one still wants to do it. If you're making the same mistakes in 1990, I can give some leeway. Or in 1995, or 2005, a little bit more leeway. But then if you never learn and you still want to keep making the same mistakes and we're 2021, fuck leeway. If you're not going to learn now, you're never going to learn. That's kind of my thought process. With this amount of history, this amount of decades of movies, to not, I mean, learn... Anyway. But yeah, Laurence Fishburne was very cool and sophisticated here as Morpheus. Pretty much discussing what the Matrix is. Which again is an interesting idea. You have to see it for yourself. And that was a lot of the marketing is what is the Matrix? And you have to see the film to find out what it is. And that's this whole thing about machines using humans as batteries. And that's why in the new film he's taking so many blue pills because he's stuck in the Matrix until finally the young Morpheus has the red pill. What the fuck does the young Morpheus say? Fly or take a trip or whatever the fuck? So Morpheus giving the red pill, just like giving him the red pill in this fucking movie. And then the one guy's like, well, he's trying to... This is what happened if he took the blue pill here. But it's a fucking sequel. If you're trying to do your off-brand, off-the-cuff... I'm not interested in that either, honestly. Of course, that's one of the crew is Joe Pantoliano. See where he'll be popping up in a bit here. Yeah, there's Joe Pantoliano. Some people call him Joey Pants. He's the guy, he was one of the three crooks in the Goonies. He was the boss of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in the Bad Boys films. He's been in quite a bit of stuff throughout the years. Yeah, this whole mirror thing. When this stuff is going over his face, if you watch the trailer to the fourth film, that's on like a movie theater projection. That's like a screen. So on the new one, his dreams is that he thinks he's the one, but you realize it's wrong because Trinity is the one. And people go, well, I thought Trinity is dead. Well, Trinity was dead, but the Matrix, I mean, it's near, I don't know, machines found her body, they fucking brought it back. What other bullshit. And before this, Keanu Reeves had done Johnny Mnemonic, another film dealing with sci-fi and technology, which I could not get into Johnny Mnemonic. I mean, when you got the dolphin that kills Dolph Lundgren, yes, a dolphin kills Dolph Lundgren, and Keanu Reeves, I liked him as an actor. I don't think he was that good in Johnny Mnemonic, or there were moments he was iffy. And there were moments he was fine. I do think at times it's an uneven performance. Complete waste of Dolph Lundgren. Even though some places have him like second build. I think one of the reasons people like The Matrix, the first one, is very straightforward plot. I mean, it's easily the most straightforward plot of all of them. A guy who realizes his whole life has been a dream. This is the reality. So then what happens is he is pulled into this group of rebels. He comes to find out that there's something special about him. There's doubts. Maybe just a normal guy. Wait, there is something special. He is the one that will... How do I put it? That's prophesized to defeat the villains. And you know what the sequels, in my opinion, did? They did what The Last Jedi tried to do, only they did it very poorly. You know, change expectations, go off the beaten path. The reason I think the Matrix sequels did it well was because they were not really ruining a whole past trilogy of movies. It was telling its own story, and this is the trajectory, the path of it, and it still ended up with Neo being the savior and helping and doing what he needed to do. It just didn't go exactly as you thought was planned, which kept it a bit interesting and fresh, so it's not the same as any other fucking franchise. And that's one of the biggest reasons it got punished. Just being honest. But hey, if people don't like the sequels, to each their own. Again, I know I'm alone in liking them. And all these needles, the idea that your body hasn't moved for this long, so you know, they try to get these muscles working again so you can actually walk and move. Just think about it, if your body has been technically used and moved for 20, 30 years, it's going to take a while for them to be able to move. So that's why all the needles. And then the fact that you're had these things since you were pretty much born, so now these things are going to be stuck to your body forever. Now you just say that the Matrix, and to me the Matrix trilogy is the best live action version of an anime. And see, now that they're in this world, you don't have as much of the green tint. I mean, if you think of the first Matrix, it kind of follows the ideas of the first Star Wars movie in a way, where you have the normal guy who could go to be bigger and better things. You have the Ben Kenobi with Morpheus. You have the Princess Leia that we did not know was a sister, and let's be honest, I don't think even George Lucas knew was a sister in the first movie, or even the second movie. I think he only knew that was a sister in the third movie. Let's be honest, guys. George Lucas only knew she was a sister in the third film, that's why she had her kiss Luke in Empire Strikes Back. And had her kiss. I mean, they kissed in the first movie for luck, and then they did the fucking swing. You know, it's the farm boy saving the princess. I mean, if you really think it was planned from the first one that Leia was Luke's sister, hate to break it to you. And then instead of the Empire, you have the machines and the rebellion. This is a rebellion. use the ways of the Force. Here, use the ways of the Matrix. In this case, dodge bullets. And, with the Force. The Force. And people wanted that more straightforward trajectory, and it went a little bit different, and a lot of people were not happy with it. To each their own. And that's for me, that's a very interesting idea, is like, what is real, what is reality, this whole thing of, there's the world of the Matrix, there's the real world, the differentiating between the two, and just interesting visual palette that I think all three films have. And Neo is just a likable character. He's a guy you relate to. And like him, we're being introduced to this world and into these ideas. That's why I don't need to see it introduced to us again in a fourth movie. And of course, there's the idea that originally they wanted Will Smith. Yes, they wanted Will Smith for the lead role. And Will Smith has a funny thing on YouTube where he mentions the pitch that the Wachowskis had for him and why he didn't do it. And then he's like, nah, I said no, and then I did Wild Wild West. And just the way Will Smith says that, and his face, his reaction, you can tell that it's just the biggest career regret he ever had was passing on The Matrix. And he said it was going to star him and Val Kilmer was going to be Morpheus. Interesting enough. But I do like Will Smith said, if I got it, I probably would have screwed it up. And I think Keanu was the right choice for it. I thought that was really nice of him. Very cool of him. He didn't have to say that, but that was very cool of him to say. And there is actually, people have done fan trailers if Will Smith starred in The Matrix. And I do think Will Smith would have been good, but I'm glad Keanu Reeves got it. I don't know if this is true. I remember one rumor that like, hey, if this guy was alive, we would like to have used Brandon Lee. Because we liked his early work. And again, if he was alive, he was still around, we would have liked to have used him. I don't know if that's true, but it's something I remember hearing. And Brandon Lee, man, imagine this. Imagine if Brandon Lee was still with us, and he did The Crow in '94. And then, I don't know what he would have done afterward. I know he wasn't up for Mortal Kombat, I know, because that's a rumor that was led to be false, I guess. But imagine if that released 94, but then, you know what, I'm going to do the job of Johnny Cage in 90. That comes out 95, and that's a hit. I'm just saying, let's say if he got, and he said yes. So 95, that's another box office hit. So The Crow's a box office hit, Mortal Kombat's a box office hit. Maybe he does one or two other films. Maybe they're a hit, maybe they're not. And maybe the Wachowskis, let's say they went, you know what? Let's try this guy out. And then Brandon Lee said yes. Brandon Lee as Neo, and then that would have been the thing that made him a megastar. Like, The Crow would have made him a star, and this would have made him a megastar. And you can imagine if Brandon Lee had Keanu Reeves' career. Maybe later on, Brandon Lee would have been John Wick. You never know. You never know about these things. You know, the path not traveled. And yeah, I like Keanu Reeves. Liked him in quite a bit of movies. And this is where he talks about this prophecy. And yeah, I think 1999 was definitely a changing point for Hollywood. Because you look at all the kinds of movies and different kinds of movies that came out, and whether you liked them or not, just how big they were, how successful they were. Whether it be box office wise, whether it be critical wise, whether it be fan wise or something. You know, whether you like them or not. I mean, you had The Matrix, you had Star Wars The Phantom Menace, you had The Blair Witch Project, you had The Sixth Sense, you had American Beauty, I believe that was 99, you had Fight Club, that was around that time. Some pretty damn big movies. And, you know, that was the end of the 90s. And, you know, people want to talk about how bad the 90s are. I think the 90s are a great decade. I think you can... I love the 80s. Don't get me wrong, I love the 80s. But the 90s, I think, is a fantastic decade. And I think it has a lot of great TV, a lot of great movies. Action and sci-fi and horror and... does not get enough credit as it's due, in my opinion. I believe this character plays Tank. I believe he's the actor that... I don't know if there's some difficulties or if he wanted more money or something. Because he didn't come back for the sequels. Even though he was alive by the end of the movie, he didn't come back. And again, I don't know if it was difficulties with the directors or if he wanted too much money or if something else happened. And it also shows just how, you know, clean cut and how crisp and clear everything in the Matrix in. Like, that's where you want to be, that's where you desire to be. And then the reality, it's this cyberpunk, broken down, everything put together with whatever they could find. Much rougher, much antiquated sort of equipment. And like, imagine you just download fighting programs, all sorts of stuff into your brain. Now, I think during the making of this film, Keanu Reeves has suffered some kind of injury, so he could not do as much tics and such as he wanted to. Because he does do wire work in this, but definitely not as much as the sequels. I think, again, there was some kind of injury, something that had happened. It might have been during training. And then, you know, you have a schedule you need to keep, and it was not able to be as big on his kits as, you know, originally intended. I think it's something of that nature. And here we have the Dojo Fight, which they don't try to do again in the fourth film, only with the shitty wannabe Candyman Morpheus. And this is sort of the start of the more martial arts type of actor for Keanu Reeves, who will later be, utilizing that in the John Wick films. And is that something you saw a whole lot in American movies? I mean, this is, I think, even before Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all that stuff. So you're seeing this, and you go, wow, this is... You have, I think, Yuen Woo Ping, I believe, that helped work on the action. Again, yeah, that, this is a movie that used the techno music well. And it's got, again, not just good music on the score, but the soundtrack as well. I remember picking up the CD, you had Rage Against the Machine, you had Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson. I think you had the Leave You Far Behind. I'm gonna leave you far behind. I think so. That might be, maybe that was another movie. But I thought it had that song in it. It's been a while since I've listened to that soundtrack. But I know I had Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson, Rage Against the Machine, which is at the end of the film. But I even like this music as well, and I think this is some really nice choreography. Also just really nice shots and choreography. And that's the thing, is that, if none of this exists, then, if there's no rules, you know, there's nothing to, quote, follow. You can bend them, you can manipulate them, you can break them, however you want to put it. See, I think that's why this choreography, you see a lot more of hands and not a tremendous amount of kicks. You see a little bit, but it's mostly hands. Yeah, see, it's much more hands. And it works rather well. That's why you're not seeing a lot of kicks. You saw a lot more kicks in the sequels. And this is the thing, even Keanu Reeves doesn't look like Neo in the new one. Again, I know it's John Wick for you. I love the John Wick films, but I'm like, unless they fuck it up, just like they fuck up so many other sequels nowadays. I can never look forward to anything because of that. Of course, you have one of the more famous moments in the movie where he goes, whoa. Of course, this is a Keanu thing that's used all the time. Whoa. Whoa. Now, see, if this was Rey Skywalker, she would make that and be fine. But no, this is how you do stories. He's not a failed, he's yet needs to have something to go towards. An arc. I'm laughing at just the way he's psyching himself up for it. And kind of stop like a Looney Tunes. And of course this is the idea that you can get, if you die in the Matrix, you die for real. That's not entirely painless. So it gives a sense of danger of, even if, well, wait a minute, if nothing can happen to you. No, it can, because kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street. If you die in a dream, you die for real. I guess the showcase, what I have here, if the lighting will let me. We have the first film, which has the feature-length documentary The Matrix Revisited. And that's the back of it there. Oh, there's another piece of music I like. This piece of music was used in trailers, including The Sixth Day. If you watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger film The Sixth Day trailer, this music is used in that trailer. And it's pretty much him understanding the idea of agents, and that these people, as long as they're plugged in, they could be the enemy. Nice sexy lady. Boom. And even all these like worlds, these training programs, all this stuff they can do. Again, it's very creative. It's pretty inventive. And you have the agents like Agent Smith, sentient programs. And that's the thing, when you get to the third one, it's like you do have these three worlds. You have the world of the Matrix, you have the world of the machines, you have the world of the humans. And now they're kind of in flux with each other. Where even beings in the Matrix have become their own life form, and they don't want anything to do with the machines. And just like Agent Smith. I mean, think about in this film, both Agent Smith and Neo die by the end of it. Neo dies, comes back, and stops the bullets. Agent Smith dies, comes back in the next one, and then he can do special stuff. Keep turning people into other Smiths. And they each have their own powers, and they're kind of equal footing. Mano a mano. I could dodge bullets. When the time comes, you won't have to. Exactly, he won't have to, because he stops the bullets. He stops the bullets in the new one, in front of Trinity. I'm like, that's not. I've seen that already. I've seen that in the first film. I saw it in the second film. Remember, he picked up the bullet, and then the other bullets drop. That's in this one. And the second one, it's in was the cathedral? I don't know if it's a cathedral, but yeah, another. Speaking of which, sequel I really enjoyed, Matrix Reloaded. Morpheus getting to be a badass. And here's the movie and some making of material. And then we have the third film, which again is I think it's a step down from the first two, but I still like it. And also some features on the second disc. Which obviously made Warner Bros. A lot of money to have this big of a box set for it. And that's getting to the third act, which I think the third act of Matrix Revolutions is awesome. And the fact of, I still think the fight between Neo and Smith is the best Superman fight on screen. Only it's not Superman. But the best Superman fight, I think, is in that movie. Then you have the Animatrix, which I do like. In particular, Second Renaissance Part 1 and Part 2, World Record. Most of them I like. Fight of the Osiris, which is what was in front of Dreamcatcher in the movie theater. It's this one here. Really, it was more, look what we could do with CG. There really wasn't a story to it. It was just, wow, look how gorgeous the CG looks. So it seemed more like a demo reel for visuals than a story. So, Final Fight of the Osiris I wasn't really huge fan of. I thought other stories had a bit more to them. And this is the experience, which is very much more in-depth in the making of these films, where you have these three disc set. Is it 3 or 4? Yeah, it's 3. Roots of the Matrix probe the historical, philosophical, and technological inspirations of the Matrix trilogy. Burly Man Chronicles profiles the society of craftspeople, actors, and filmmakers who devoted years of their lives to the movie trilogy and enter the Matrix console game. And then Zion Archive, which has music videos, TV spots, trailers, The Matrix Online, concept artwork, storyboards, drawings, and so forth. So you're going to save the world. And then this is what the cover itself looks like. Pretty simple, but still looks pretty cool with the green and the way it the way the light catches it. Pretty cool visual. I thought also this was an interesting idea that you would have a character that actually wants to be in the Matrix. That, you know, this, I know this isn't real, but it tastes great, it smells great, it feels great. And as he says it here, ignorance is bliss. I imagine... I want to be rich. Someone important, like an actor. Sorry, I'm just watching. But the idea if you would have, like, you think of someone who, that's interesting, like the next scene you have this ugly as hell food, and previously you have the one guy eating this wonderful steak, and that's stuff like that is why Joe Pantoliano wants to go back into the Matrix, because he realizes the real world, it's not comfortable, it's rank, it's dark, it's depressing, the food sucks, and while it might not be reality, if it's more comfortable and tastier, you have a guy like Joey Pants want to go back into it. Although I wonder, like, how did he get into the Matrix without anyone noticing? Like, no one knows where Joey Pants is. Like, wouldn't someone be monitoring people who go in and out of the Matrix? Or what did Joey... Like, if they're all on the same spaceship, what is he... Do they have separate rooms where each one can go into the Matrix? Or they... No one's just paying attention to Joey Pants doing that while they're eating? On lunch break, he's like, I'm going to sneak out and use this. Oh, okay, he is there. Shot. Okay, so he was there. So, you know, how did he sneak out? Did he sneak out just... Oh, I'm going to the Matrix to, you know, piss around? Go see a movie? Maybe, I don't know. I did. He had really cool outfits, cool shades. I mean, you just say, well, technically there's no reason why they have those outfits. There's no reason why you have these cool shades, but, you know, it's slim. Let's, you know, if you're able to do it, why not? Many people, many other people would do that as well. And of course, he puts his phone there so that when they come back, it'll be a trap. Yeah, the Wachowskis, before this, they did some writing, including, I think they wrote the film Assassins with Sylvester Stallone and Banderas, and apparently the script got changed quite a bit, and they weren't really happy with it. And that's another thing with the Wachowskis, like, only, from what I understand with this new film, this is from what I understand, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, only one of them came back to direct. The other wanted nothing to do with it. And so Warner Brothers pretty much said, we're making this film with or without you. So either you want to help us or no. Because again, probably Warner Brothers saw, hey, you got these Star Wars and all these other franchises coming back. What do we have in the vault? Wait, people like Keanu Reeves because of the John Wick, and he even came back with the Bill and Ted film. What do we have? Oh, we have Matrix. That was popular once. Hey, it's been since 2003 since we had the last one. Okay. Even if they, nostalgia, Star Wars The Force Awakens, look how big that was. Even if we did half of that, we'll make a tidy profit, and there we go. So, do you want to do this or not? So, don't give me this, well, they had this great story. No, Warner Bros. Wanted another product, and Lana Wachowski, help us or not. And that's what happened. I don't give a fuck if she's trans or not. I don't give a shit. What I give a shit about is you're fucking around with a story that, in my opinion, concluded fine and dandy. Not perfect. Don't think Trinity needed to die. But still. And then, let me think about it. Yeah, well, yeah, they just want, more of that fucking nostalgia bucks. The first film, that is. And then I've heard that the sequels are not going to be canon. I've heard rumors that the sequels are going to be ignored as if they never happened. And I'm sitting there going, but even that doesn't make fucking sense, because if that's the case, then why is Neo caught by the machines? If that's true, then they make the second and third film not canon? So that means after the first film, he somehow got kidnapped. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they're making 2 and 3 non-canon. I just don't buy into that. I don't buy into it because it doesn't make... It makes even little sense. There is no spoon. Which that line was actually parodied in Dog Soldiers. In Dog Soldiers, there's a character named Spoon, and when the character gets eaten, and the one guy comes in and finds that there's nothing but body parts left, like there's nothing left, and then the guy's like, "Where's Spoon?" And the other guy goes, "There is no spoon." That's what the reference for is based on this. I thought it was actually, the way he handled in the movie is the way, it's better than how I describe it. And here we have the original Oracle, which they changed actresses in part 2 because in between this and the second film she passed away, this actress, which is too bad, because I thought she did a good job. I do think she was better too as the Oracle. I do. She just had more of that warm, motherly figure and personality that seemed a bit more genuine. But again, that's not their fault. She passed away. So, what can you do? She passed away in between this one and the second film, so then they recast the new Oracle for the second and third film. But it's sorry that happened, not just because she passed away, which that's the main reason, but it would have been nice to see her in 2 and 3. Because again, I just thought she had a bit more of that warm, motherly quality. Like a more genuine smile. Even when she's not too bright though. She still has this warmth and smile that says genuine. And the lady who played the Oracle wasn't bad in 2 and 3, but I don't think as good as this one, as she was. And I want to get the phone to see if I can look up some trivia, so I'm not just boring people. Now, it's funny that the Oracle here mentions being the one is like being in love, and that's the decision that makes things a little bit more different than the other ones. I actually don't mind the idea that there are past Neos or past the ones, because it makes this one even more unique that he was able to change fate, change destiny. Fate is what we make of it. Also, it's like a video game. You you play the level one way, it didn't work out, you play it 5 more different ways, it didn't work out, you die, but once you get the right pattern, the right thing to do, the right, you know, quick time events pressed, whatever you want to call it, you're able to advance and in fact beat the game, so to speak. Sorry, now I'm listening to the dialogue. At the end, it comes down to these choices, and each choice, it's him either saving the friend or doing what's the typical, saving your own ass or doing your duty. And when he keeps saving his friends, you know, that's when it gets to the higher level in a way. Because I guess in a way, what are we without our family and friends? See, think about it, the ones closest to us. I don't want a cookie. Maybe the cookie has mushrooms in it. So, holy shit, there's a lot of trivia. The opening action scene took 6 months of training and 4 days to shoot. Yeah, Yun Woo Ping initially refused to work on the film even after receiving the script, which he liked. He hoped that by asking for an exorbitant fee, it would turn off the Wachowskis. It didn't. He said that he'd only if he had complete control of the fights and that he trained the actors for 4 months. The Wachowskis complied with his request. I wonder why he refused to work on the film in the first place if he liked the script. Carrie-Anne Moss twisted her ankle while shooting one of her scenes, but decided not to tell anyone until after filming so they wouldn't recast her. After the lobby shootout, the camera pans back, showing the aftermath. During this, a piece of one of the pillars falls off. This happened by coincidence. I do remember that moment. See the cat, deja vu. And you see that cat in the trailer of the fourth film. And what does it say here? Right, it's because there were two cats, but a glitch in the Matrix when they change something. So with that black cat, I would not be surprised there's a fucking glitch. And of course they're changing stuff, so the windows are now brick walls. There he goes. And people forget these films are rated R. They're not rated PG-13, they're rated R. Laurence Fishburne stated that once he read the script, he did not understand why other people found it confusing. However, he had a doubt that the movie would be made because it was so smart. Well, it did get made, only he did not get to be in the new one. Maybe that's a good thing. Will Smith was approached to play Neo, but turned it down to do Wild Wild West. He later admitted that he was not mature enough as an actor and that if given the role, he would have messed it up. He says Keanu was brilliant. Sandra Bullock had been offered the role of Trinity, but turned it down because Will Smith... wait. Sandra Bullock had been offered the role of Trinity, but turned it down. She regretted her decision because if she had been cast, she would have been reunited with Keanu Reeves, which they were in Speed. I mean, I think Carrie-Anne Moss did a good job. That would have been interesting. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock again. Sandra Bullock is Trinity. I like Carrie-Anne Moss though. I love Sandra Bullock. I'm a huge Sandra Bullock fan, but I thought Carrie-Anne Moss did a good job, and it would seem like a weird sequel to Speed if it was Sandra Bullock. Like, damn, this is what happened after Speed. I like the way this camera is, where it shows as if these characters are in almost like a tube. I mean, they're going down behind the wall, crawling down, but the way the camera was set up so it's black on the left, black on the right, it did almost like this claustrophobic feel, like they were in a tube. And Joe Pantoliano, I would not be surprised if he coughed that on purpose just so that they would find him. I mean, maybe he sneezed on accident, to be fair, but still. Of course, we need an agent here. There we go. And again, that's an interesting idea. The agents could inhabit anybody closest to their goal. So your first moment between Neo and Smith. And, you know, Morpheus gets some nice moments here, trying the best he can. And he gets some moments to kick ass in the sequel. But again, it's a guy trying to do the right thing, trying to do what he believes is right. The honorable thing. And then Neo doesn't want to leave and is being forced to leave by Trinity. So each character is doing their moments that relate to their characters. Morpheus believes in Neo, and Neo wants to help his friend, and Trinity's like, no, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Of course, that's the fakest trip ever on purpose. You see a lot of the red around Laurence Fishburne's eyes. It makes me wonder if any of that dust got into his eyes and fucked up his eyes. I don't know what material they use for all this dust. I would imagine it's some kind of thing for safety in case it did get into your eyes and mouth. Ooh, that's like a harsh stunt to fall and hit your head on the toilet. And that's the thing, like, we saw how Morpheus was good in the training scene, And then this showcases just how good the agents are, how powerful they are, with how they're handling Morpheus in this. For Agent Smith's voice, Hugo Weaving emulated a 1950s newsreader. The filming of the helicopter scene, that'll be coming up in a little bit, nearly caused the film to be shut down because they flew the helicopter through restricted Sydney airspace. Laws in New South Wales, Australia were changed to allow filming to proceed. Oh yeah, this is when Joey Pants is going to betray and try to fuck up the whole team. That's what's coming up. In the first 45 minutes of the film, Neo has 80 lines. 44 of those lines are questions. Because Joey Pants is a turncoat sumbitch. Makes sense because the actor is usually known for those kind of roles. Not all the time. I mean, he's a good guy in the Bad Boys films. But usually he's kind of a guy that you don't trust. But I mean, you know, on the flip side, he worked with Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals. I mean, he's just a good character actor. Hey, sorry about the edit, but for some reason, the camera shut off. I think it's some kind of update I need to do on it, so I'll do it after this, and then everything should be fine. Because, you know, sometimes these things need a little bit of updating. It might be that it might be the software that I'm using with the webcam. Anyway, that's so interesting. But yeah, sorry for the abrupt edit. Thankfully I caught it in time. So I am paused at 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. So at this point, Joey Pants has betrayed them. And these other people get killed because of his sorry ass. And, you know, there would be people that would want to stay inside because it's more comfortable, it's more satisfying on a superficial level. And I guarantee you, there would be people that would stay. Instead of going through the hardships of all that's going on, I'd get a lot more comfortable in the environment, the, quote, weather, the taste, the food, all that stuff. People would choose that. As he's pulling the plug on these characters and them getting killed, so to speak. Not even so to speak, just getting outright killed. I was looking through trivia while that was happening. I don't even remember where I was. They filmed in Australia. They keep the budget around 60 million. If it was in the US, it would have been 180 million. Harry'd always go and get his just desserts. And of course, she does believe that he's the one because her like the Oracle told her it'd be someone she'd fall in love with. And yeah, this guy, again, I don't know if he had a contract dispute or if some fight with the director or whatever, but he's alive here, but he's not in the, I guess he died in between movies. That's what we're led to believe. It was too bad because I liked the actor and I liked him in this film. The helicopter rescue of Morpheus took over 6 months to prepare and plan. Oh, here it is. Prior to pre-production, Keanu Reeves suffered a 2-level... Damn, sorry. A 2-level fusion of his cervical spine, which had begun to cause paralysis in his legs, requiring him to undergo neck surgery. He was still recovering by the time of pre-production, but he insisted on training, so he let him practice punches and lighter moves. Reeves trained hard and even requested training on days off. The surgery still made him unable to kick for 2 out of 4 months of training. As a result, Reeves did not kick much in the film. So that's why he had 2-level fusion of his cervical spine, which is causing paralysis on his legs. Holy shit. And then he had to get neck surgery. I wonder if was that from an injury on a movie? The movie he did before this was what, Chain Reaction? Or was it, maybe it wasn't a movie, maybe it was just some motorcycle accident or something, I don't know. Before filming, actors and actresses spent 4 months with martial arts experts from October 97 to March 98. Of course, Morpheus' ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, is a biblical reference to Teen Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon from the biblical book of Daniel. He was famous for conquest of Israel in biblical times. He built the Hanging Gardens of Babylon for his wife. He has a dream he can't interpret, but keeps searching for an answer. According to Don Davis, Johnny Depp was the Wachowskis' first choice for Neo. Warner Brothers wanted Brad Pitt or Val Kilmer. They said no. Warner Brothers considered Johnny Depp, and then came to Johnny Depp and Keanu Reeves. Warner Brothers was pushing Keanu. Keanu was really tuned to the concept and made a big difference in casting. Let's see. The Wachowskis have said Ghost in the Shell was a big influence in the development of the film. Carrie-Anne Moss found it impossible after the film's release to go out wearing sunglasses because she would get instantly recognized. The idea for the film was created when the Wachowskis were thinking for some new story for a comic book series. They wrote the entire script before their first directorial venture, Bound, and worked on it up until the time of production. Many Hollywood execs passed on it because they said virtual reality sci-fi was bad business, citing the failure of films like Giant Mnemonic, virtuosity. I mean, well, they didn't do well, to be fair. See, this when the idea of the Matrix was in early development in the early 90s, just again, they thought of the idea even before they did the first film, Bound, and then it took them years to develop it. They said at the time their choice would have been Brandon Lee before he died in 94. Because again, this is a script they had in their pocket for many, many, many years. They only filmed the trilogy where Neo utilizes firearms. That's true, because after the second and third, he was pretty much Superman. Which I know some people didn't like that. I didn't mind it. He made up for the John Wick with the John Wick films. For the DVD set, the release was given a totally new, clean DVD transfer to replace the grainy one from the 1999 DVD, and gave it the clear, sleek look of the sequels, which had not been since the theatrical release. So, okay, no wonder it looked so slick for 1999. See, okay, that's actually, I don't mind that. The Lobby Shootout took 10 days to film. Sir Sean Connery was offered the role of the architect in the sequels. Because the rumor was that he was offered Morpheus and he said no. But apparently he was offered the role of the architect in the sequels and he said no. Well, I'm going to stop for a minute because this is probably the pinnacle scene for Agent Smith in this movie. The way he describes this showcases kind of his desire in the sequels to want to get out and to surpass. Because agents don't usually think this way. He hates it being here. We are the cure. Like, he hates the stink, he hates the filth, he hates being here. Which the other agents, they're pretty indifferent, unemotional. But this Smith wants something more. Which he gets, in the sequels. He gets more. He desires more. Guns. Lots of guns. Which, of course, that line would come back in John Wick 3, which was a fun moment. Very cool visual. They got all these sorts of guns here. That's why it's going to work. And of course, because you have guys in long black jackets and coats and shooting guns, when stuff like Columbine and stuff happened, if they blame a movie, they would blame this film, even though it's completely science fiction and it's adults and a sci-fi dealing with an enemy that's machines. Hey, it's coats and guns. If that's all it takes for someone to go crazy, that person's crazy to start with. It is. See, when he takes his glasses off, this is when, and that's why he takes his earpiece off, because the showcase just, there's a bit more to this agent than the others. And yeah, he gets destroyed, but he comes back because he becomes Neo's equal. And I actually fine with that, because it's like even if they did not think they were going, they set up for a sequel, but they didn't know if they would be able to get the sequels. But then they thought, well, wait a minute, Agent Smith is a good villain, like Darth Maul was a good villain in The Phantom Menace. And the mistake was killing him off too soon. But at least here, with the Matrix, what it can do, you can rectify that, and in fact, do something even more with Smith. Which is what happens in this. Sorry about that. I don't know, my throat's going crazy. You get the big lobby, one of the big scenes in the movie that people remember for good reason. Lou Diamond Phillips was sent the script, but was later told by his agent that the movie would flop. Well, maybe he should fire his agent. Here we go. I'm going to wait on the trivia, I'm just going to enjoy this. I mean, it's a nice usage of camera angles, especially wide angles, use of slow-mo, inspired by John Woo. This is definitely inspired by John Woo. The slow motion, again, the wider shots, the use of gunplay. The squibs they have to put in, all of this stuff to break it away. Nowadays, a lot of this would be CGI, rubble, CGI. Like, we don't actually, because you have to take the time to set all this up and set each of these little explosives to create this rubble. Nah, do that after the fact. But no, that's why this scene works. One of the many reasons is because you see it's real stuff crumbling down. And this idea that this pill is just being turned to nothing. And you don't just have two pistols, you got two little machine guns going on. I don't know the make of those guns, I'm sorry. That's a nice move. Shotgun fun. And some nice music. Again, this is one where I'm not a big techno music guy, but this is one that utilizes that very well, just like Blade the year before. Nice cartwheel. Get, was it M16? Again, you don't have to utilize gravity, so why the fuck not? Dum 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 dum. Ah, Uzi. We have Uzi this time. Able to do at least one kick. This is where the wide shot, the pillar, piece of pillar fall down. Apparently that was on accident. This wide shot when they get in. Right about here. Yeah, that does work. That actually does work. And yeah, I remember the trailer for this film being fantastic. I think it's one of the best edited trailers out there because it shows you, it doesn't exactly tell you what the story is. It gives you a lot of intrigue though. The piece of music they use, I forget what it's called, but it's the same music used in the trailer for The Long Kiss Goodnight, the Gina Davis, Rennie Harlan, Sam Jackson film. And in the trailer in that, the music in that trailer is in the music in the trailer for this film. there is no spoon. To be able to survive this shit. I think that is a CGI door, but you know, that looks fine for what it needed to be, and I get why they utilized it. I think that's probably real fire. Like real fire, and probably like a model of the place. Shoot in slow motion. And you don't have Daniel Bernhardt. Daniel Bernhardt as an agent. Daniel Bernhardt, who's in Bloodsport 2, 3, and 4, among others. He would show up as an agent in the sequels. And then he was in the first John Wick film. And in the show, what he can do against an agent, at least dodge bullets. So it shows that he's moving like an agent, just like here. They, you know. Now here you get the biggest moment in the movie. That all the trailers, all the marketing showed. It still looks cool. I mean, they did the best. Bullet time the best. And it's like John Woo did the slow-mo gunplay the best. These guys did bullet time the best, man. Dodge this. That's pretty badass. And then, yeah, I like Carrie-Anne Moss, so I'm glad she got the movie. Why do you have a problem if she's the one in the new one? Because then that defeats the story of these films. The whole point of them was that he's the one. And they go, nope, never mind. So you're... Like Luke Skywalker, he's the... No. Or Darth Vader, he's that... No. But he's the one who's going to defeat the Emperor. No. No, it's not. It's Rey. It's Rey Skywalker. The Force is me. The Force is with me. What the fuck she said? The Force is in me. I don't know. I've been force fucked. I don't... Fist fucked. Force fucked. Fucked with the Force. The Force is inside me. Like, if, I don't know. Then she's the one who kills the Emperor by herself. Even though the Emperor said, if you kill me, I'll be powerful. But then she kills him and he's not powerful. So whatever the fuck. And come on, it's always cool to have some minigun fun. Aim better, Neo. You're not hitting anybody. You're hitting the fucking wall. Glad you're not hitting Morpheus. Like, why are you hitting the ground, Neo? Why are you shooting the ground? You just take the guy off his feet. In some slow motion. And that's a cool shot, the bullets falling down from the helicopter. Okay, he did hit him. That's why it's... Because they didn't turn to any amount of the SWAT team. But yeah, this is a film that took time to shoot. See, and then the sprinkler system, like in the new trailer, the trailer for the new film, it's Keanu Reeves in the sprinkler system. Is that what it's going to be? Neo's going to be here? Like, Neo is going to be captured and someone has to save him, just like we're saving Morpheus? Is that what it's going to be? Is it? Only the Trinity or the blue chick or someone has this. Maybe it's, you know, Morpheus, whatever. Yeah, another nice cool moment. Again, I'm sorry, I think the sequels are overhated. I really do. Oh, sorry. Getting some nice helicopter. I mean, so this is apparently what almost shut the movie down. Some of this helicopter stuff, because you can't have this. You don't make things fucking crash. You're in our airspace. What the fuck do you think you're doing? And it takes something to hold an entire fucking helicopter and just entertaining escapism. Just cool stuff, man. Just absolutely cool stuff. Like the ripple effect, like it's a swimming pool, but it's a swimming pool of glass. And even that, where you think you don't realize till you're behind the glass as she smashes into it. Little tricks like that is cool. And pretty badass. Sorry, I'm answering text back. So pretty much the Sentinels are gonna strike our heroes in the real world, while Neo's trying to escape in this world. Even that's kind of a cool image, them disappearing into the phone booth. Nice little details like that. And then we're pretty much getting to our finale, because we have Neo's going to get shot. He's not dead. Oh no, we have the subway scene first, the subway fight. That's right. Which is a pretty good fight, actually. Which just feels like they're ripping that off in the new film as well. There's a quick shot of the two jumping and kicking each other. Mr. Anderson, welcome back. And the sort of the gunfight type of western setting, that newspaper's kind of like the tumbleweed passing by. Another cool, memorable moment, this 360. Again, so many movies ripped off. And when you rip off something so much, it becomes less special. And it's not the movie's fault. It's everyone else ripping it off and doing a shit job with it. 9 times out of 10, they didn't know how to do it properly. Like Bulletproof Monk and crap like that. I didn't buy fucking the sequel like 20 other films ripped it off. At least 20 films. So, this might have been later in the shoot, so he was able to get a couple kicks in there. But it's mostly going to be punches. Very nice. Ooh, some nice headbutts there. Ooh, shit. Sorry, I mean, again, well done choreography. Done in wide shots. It's not edited piss poorly. It's not edited schizophrenically. And this, you know, is it this movie coming up? Like, how many times has a movie ripped this off? Fucking Space Jam New Legacy ripped this off. Like, so many ripped this off with the, you know. I guess Space Jam New Legacy fucking did it recently. See, and that's why they fucking referenced The Matrix so much, because they knew their next big movie was The Matrix, which I guess is coming out this Christmas, supposedly. Don't be surprised if it's pushed back. Maybe not, because HBO Max, and maybe they're like, fuck it, we'll hopefully get the HBO Max money. Because they didn't push back Suicide Squad, and Godzilla vs. Kong, all these other movies. Seems like the HBO Max ones are the ones being released. So maybe it will be released on Christmas. What a great fucking Christmas present. How Neo felt being thrown in that fucking wall is how I felt watching the trailer for Matrix Resolutions. Resurrections. Regurgitations. Putinations. And good stunt work as well, nice wire work. My name is Neo. No, my name is John Wick, at least in the new one. Really nice backflip right now, right here. Very cool backflip. I mean, wire work, but yeah, this is wire work used fairly well compared to, like, Exit Wounds, which Exit Wounds came out after this, and that was a Steven Seagal film with Warner Brothers, and I think Joel Silver producer, and they're like, hey, you know, Matrix was a hit, let's use some wire work here, even though it's Steven Seagal. And I like Exit Wounds, but that was one of the things that just didn't fit, was the wire work. But again, they did that because The Matrix. Joel Silver produced it, who produced this, and Warner Brothers, who released this, released that. Wire work is the thing. Bullet time is the thing. This became a phenomenon when it came out. Copy the phenomenon. And then it gets diluted. That always happens. It always happens. And there's some good things in the middle of that dilution, but it does get diluted. It just does. I need to get to the finale where Neo's going to die and be reborn, then Agent Smith's going to die, and by the next film, Reborn. And that's the thing, like, once you have someone become more of a Superman, how do you create obstacles for him? Well, you gotta create obstacles in the second film with, okay, what if you have 100 Agent Smiths? And, well, why does he fly away? Because he wants to stop the problem of these Agent Smiths. And then he realizes that no matter what he does, they keep coming. That's part of his job as the One, is to stop these agents. It's like they keep coming. Maybe if I stop these 2, maybe I stop these 4, maybe I stop this 6. Fuck, now I'm in the middle of it. If I try to fly away, they don't grab me and pull me down. Let's see where this goes. Or I gotta go save my friends on the highway. You know, all this other stuff. I got this other group that works for this other asshole, this Frenchman. Mr. French asshole. Or I have trouble with these creatures in the real world. Whereas I thought it was a cool design of these sentinel creatures. Because they're like a squid, like a mechanical octopus type of thing. And I passed over it, but I like the idea, like every room he goes in, another Agent Smith is there because, or agent in general, because they could go into any body. Again, another interesting idea. But yeah, in the theatrical cut and the first, like, I bet the VHS, you could, if you find the VHS of this movie, it's going to have the regular looking tint of the film. Like I say, it would be nice to get the choice to see it without the green tint. Again, like I said, I get it. The consistency they're going for. Again, I guess the reason it's not in the new one because it's been rebooted, The Matrix. I'm like, has it really? I mean, I wouldn't say it's been rebooted. It's, you know, there was a truce. But, whatever. Well, like what was said earlier, well, I'm going to dodge bullets. When the time comes, you won't have to. And that's what Morpheus said, and that was the plan. That was the plan. And that's where you get into the sequel. The whole notion of the mythology is part of this program to keep the humans at bay, so to speak. Where there's always going to be a way for the humans going to rebel. So how do we have rebellion create this idea of a savior and have this repeat notion of the savior is going to win, save the day, redo it again and again and again. Also because it's this weird program. But then you break the system. That's what Neo did in the second and third film. That's what it was about. Breaking the system. Breaking the cycle. But now in this fourth one, it's going back into the fucking cycle again. And being like, how do we do the twist? Well, Trinity is the one. And I'm sure there'll be a point where Trinity kisses, I don't know, just, I don't want to see the same shit different day. It's the same, but it's this. And it's the same, but it's this. I don't need to see that. You're right, I don't need to see it, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it when it comes out. And I'll say right here, to get my ass to see this movie would have to take a lot of fucking money. Because I'm like, I don't want to see it, because I don't want to have a heart attack. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of my mind fucking exploding from this bullshit. And people, well, it was already ruined with the sequels. I disagree. But yeah, I know I'm alone in that. So you get this cool moment of him stopping the bullets. Very cool visual moment. And that was a tough battle. Once you have a character be able to do this, what can you do to create obstacles for him in the sequels? Kind of like Superman. How do you create obstacles with Superman? And this here, if you think of everything has an opposite and equal reaction, whatever's happening here, this force, this energy. And think about it. In this one, Neo goes into Smith. And that's how he wins. That's how he wins the battle, not the war. By the end of it, he lets Smith go into him, and that's how he wins. He wins not the battle, but he wins the war. If that makes sense. Like, he won the fight, but he didn't win the war. By doing the opposite, he loses the battle technically, but he does win the war. Yeah, and this big pulse thing that took care of those Sentinel motherfuckers. And yeah, I can understand technically you didn't need sequels. I can agree with that. Like you, and in essence, did you need sequels? That's understandable. But yeah, I still like the direction they went in. Very cool way. There you go. That sort of big reveal. Not reveal, yeah, with the reveal of him being able to fly, and you had that Rage Against the Machine. I mean, it's never a bad thing to have Rage Against the Machine to end your movie, and that big threat to the Matrix of what he's going to do. But yeah, I enjoy the film. I think it's a classic. I love the whole trilogy. I think the whole trilogy works. I still, for me, it holds up to this day. Yes, there's not perfect. There's little issues I have with it here and there. I still enjoy this ever since I saw it in the theater in '99. I still think it has a lot. I think it's decently smart, visually great to look at, has a wonderful cast. Gloria Foster, that was the woman who played the Oracle. May she rest in peace. Did good cast, likable characters, fun, kick-ass, cool action, and some interesting ideas. And in my opinion, that followed through in the sequels. But yeah, I know I'm alone in that. And Don Davis, I don't think he's coming back to do the music. I don't think so. Of course, Wake Up, the song from Rage Against the Machine. And I'm going to check the soundtrack at the end here real quick. Did you get the... Yeah, Dracula by Rob Zombie. That's right. Prodigy. Yeah, Leave You Far Behind. That was from Lunatic Calm. Leave You Far Behind. Club to Death, performed by Rob D. Wake Up, Rage Against the Machine, Rock is Dead, Marilyn Manson. Granted, all these songs don't... I don't think all these songs appear in the movie. At least it didn't seem like it. I'm trying to think where Rock is Dead was in the movie. I might have missed it, but I remember that on the soundtrack. But yeah, awesome film. I still enjoy it to this day. Fuck the new movie. So, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.